originally we were supposed to have Irresistible Iris here, who is one of our writers. And because of personal issues, she couldn't come, which we were really sad about. So yesterday, we called Suzanna, and she was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna come over. So we were like really happy that she made time free for us, because she's a very busy woman. Because you also are like the chairperson of Pride Amsterdam.
Exactly.
So we really respect that you came. So really nice that you're helping us out. Everything. So maybe a small applause for Suzanne. Having said all of that, could you introduce yourself and tell us why you are connected to kink? Why are you connected to fetish?
That's a lot of questions.
Yes.
So my name is Suzanne van Laar, she, her. I'm the chairperson of Pride Amsterdam. I'm also a mother and a partner of a non-binary person, but after all, I'm a leather woman. I'm a fetish woman, and I love my leather. Because when you wear leather, you feel yourself, and that's what it's about. And fetish, it's everywhere. Let's show our kink.
Yes, leather was also your first love? Was that your very first?
My first, my last, my everything. No, you know, when you first smell the leather, you know that it's touched you. It makes you feel safe, makes you feel horny sometimes. And it makes you feel seen, because it's strong. And people think, okay, I have to back up. And sometimes I like that, because in my opinion, with the work I do, everybody comes to me. But they also do that when I'm wearing leather, so it's not working anymore. But you know what? If you're gonna wear leather, you feel beautiful. And I'm almost 50, and I feel very beautiful.
Yeah, you look stunning. Yes. So we're going to go to Matthijs the next. Well, first, let's go to the guy, because we're talking about leather, talking about...
Got a little leather sandwich here.
Yes, he is in a leather sandwich.
So hi, my name is Guy. I live in Dublin, Ireland with my husband, who's here. And I'm one of the writers for Mr. B Wings. And I am a coach by profession. And on Instagram, I'm the leather coach, because like Suzanne was saying, I love leather and I love coaching. And it's such a big, incredible process of coming out to your fetish and to your leather. And I just found this natural way of bringing all the parts of myself together and talking to people and coaching them with leather and confidence and clarity and balance and discipline and focus and all those things. Because to feel all those things, Suzanne was saying, that is life. And we need to give ourselves permission to do that.
Is it a little bit like, I hear from a lot of drag queens that drag, for example, empowers them, and it sometimes also empowers their alter ego. Are you also doing like? Do you also try to empower people in that way, that when they feel themselves in leather, do you show them also a way to feel like that when they are not?
Absolutely, because it's kind of a two-way street. You need the leather to feel empowered, but you're empowered from within. And one of the things that happens in coaching is realizing that leather is wonderful and incredible. You don't need the leather. You shouldn't be waiting to wear the leather to feel incredible and to feel like yourself. So it's about balancing out leather you and non-leather you, or any gear you're into, so you can feel like you're wearing leather wherever you go. And it's that inside-out balance, which is, it's owning it and walking down the street, even if you're going to the shop in a tracksuit and feeling like you're in full bluff. That's the feeling. Yes. That's the feeling.
Beautiful.
There you go.
And our third panelist is...
Yes, hello, I'm Matthijs. I'm 33 years old, live in Amsterdam. I'm one of the writers of the magazine. I joined a couple of years ago, thanks to Tony. What do I have with...
When he started, he was a bit of a rookie. You were like interested in... You were interested in kink and the fetish, but you didn't...
I was very shy and very giggly. I'm still a little like, but I was like, I wouldn't be sitting, like 4 years ago, was it or something? I wouldn't be sitting dressed like this.
Yeah, a spicy, hot little wrestling outfit.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, that changed over the years, partly due to wings and just the things I experienced and I don't know, the feeling of like being here and feeling normal. That's a really weird feeling, dressed like this, and I don't know how to explain that.
I'm going to show the audience already. Matthijs writes about his sex life, about his sexuality.
This book, thank you, This book is actually, I was writing sex columns for a different magazine, but I was writing sex columns for them about my, my journey, I was actually kind of lost with myself, with sex, with sexuality. What is normal? What do I like, and why do I like it? And should I care, or I don't know. I was experiencing these things, and writing for me was like a way of processing it or accepting it. And I've experienced so many crazy stuff, but I'm so happy about it. Willingly, and okay,
With consent, willingly with consent.
And spoiler alert, but in this book I also write about like entering the kink and fetish world and how that has helped me, or for example, like, I don't know, going to Darklands or to church, or experiencing stuff like that, or meeting people in real life instead of going online. And this book is actually a collection of that, a celebration of that.
Yes. Of that exploration.
Yes, it's like a sexual journey. Yes.
And for the non-Dutch speakers, it's called Lieve Lust, Sweet Lust.
Sweet Lust, the sexual revolution of a queer millennial.
Yes.
Yes.
So, show and tell. What we did last round, we do again. Let's start with. Let's start with something a little bit silly.
Thank you. Corn. So this is a cob of corn. And the story, we charge it plugged into the PlayStation. The story goes this way. My husband and I were in New York a couple of years ago, and we went into one of the fetish stops. And we went downstairs and saw this enormous display of all these crazy alien-like dildos and things. And it was almost like an art exhibit. It was very pretty. And then we saw almost like the vegan section down below, where there was a courgette, there was an aubergine, which is out of stock now, by the way, because we're looking, and we saw the corn, and it just became this running joke since we went to New York. It's like corn, this and that. Last year I went to Folsom, and I wanted to buy my husband something, and I couldn't find him anything to buy him. And on the last day, like literally hours before going to the airport, there's this shop next to PK, and they had the corn. And
there was a beam of light.
It was a
the
beam
window.
of light. You know, it was time for some popping. And what I love about this is that it's so funny that now my sister-in-law, his sister wants one for Christmas, so we're trying to find her an aubergine. And he keeps it by his home office because he just plays with it, because it's got a really good kind of little, here, hold this for a second. Oh, yeah. It's got this really nice little kind of like massaging action. And it just shows that this stuff can be fun. It doesn't have to be so serious. And it just shows that, you know, vegans have options too. Not that I'm vegan.
Damn.
But it's really, it's right.
Yes.
Do the neck setting and put it on your neck. It's so good.
Put it in the mic. Yeah, right. Right.
Pass it around.
Oh.
Pass it around. The corn?
Yeah, feel free to pass out the corn. It's a barbecue. We need a good smoke ring on that thing. Enjoy the corn. So yeah, that's the corn, because it can be fun and doesn't have to be serious, and it surprises you and it delights you, and it's something different, which I think is freedom that we need to give ourselves.
And I also like that you told me that your husband sometimes is like in a Zoom meeting and completely forgets,
He's
right?
just grabbing things to kind of fidget with them, and you know, he just grabs the corn sometimes. He's like, "Oh, that's the corn."
Yeah.
Can't show that on Zoom, and because he like to fidget, and it's a bit of fun, which I think it should be.
The next object is a little bit more. It has some sort of romance to it.
Oh, and what? Corn doesn't have romance?
Can you tell us what this is?
Da. This is a flogger from Mr. B, of course, and this is full with roses. And this is my favorite flogger because it looks so lovely. Yes. But when you want to use it, it sucks.
It sucks.
Because it's not stabilized, it's not working. It was one of the first ones. I think it's 12 years old already, but it's so nice. I never will throw it away. And you see,
But even though you don't really like hitting with it, is it still fun to do it sometimes? Do you like the visuals of it when you do it?
Yeah, but I have better ones. But this one is it's a nice one. But the fact is, this thing is not stabilized. Just when you want to flog with it, it's not working well. So you don't know. You feel it. It's
I just hear from Tony that we have like newer models, right?
Yes,
Is
you
that,
did.
Is that correct? Yeah.
This was the first one, and Max said to me, "This is not a good one, but it was so lovely that I needed it."
But why do you like floggers? What is the fun of a flogger?
What is the fun of a flog? You know, I love the fact of softly hitting someone and the sound of it when it hits the back or the bottom, and when you feel it, when you feel that somebody is giving to you everything, safe zone, and you can be together and you can play a little magic and a bulb of it, and then flogging or wiping with the, I don't know how you say it.
Whipping?
Whipping, thank you. Wiping is something else. So when you flog, you come into a trance, and then that's what you do, and it's going on, and then the aftercare. I think it's one of the most romantic things to do, because the other things I love to do are much more harder.
Like there's differences in these floggers, right? What is one that you really appreciate? What is the most fun for you?
Barbed wire.
I have one of barbed wire, and I used it once, and I loved it, but my sub didn't, so we stopped. But it was amazing, because I love blood. I'm sorry. When you hit, and you know, it's just a little bit, and you see that skin turning red.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's called breaking the skin, right?
Breaking the
that's
skin.
term.
I love to pierce. I love to hang people on hoe zeg je dat?
On hooks. Yes.
Because I love that. And that's something that people don't see me doing. I'm also a city councillor. So be who you are and own your sexuality, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, and that makes what you said earlier even more fun, because you said sometimes at my work people are a little bit, yes.
They don't know me. And they do. Because when you find my Instagram and everything, you see everything of me. Because I don't hide. Because when you hide things, they talk about you. And now they can't, because it's everywhere. So that's the magic.
So, and one of the things we would like to also show a little bit during this panel is that fetish and kink can be everything. It doesn't need to be like being flogged by barbed wire. It can be, it doesn't need to be. But it can also be other things, like a foot fetish, or you like to sniff socks. And this young man has been playing a little bit with cock-ball torture, is that right? CBT.
A little bit, yes. So
And he's using like a very simple item for that.
yeah, that's okay. So that's the reason why I love this simple cock ring. I actually got it thanks to Andre. He helped me on my quest for my first cock ring. I went to the store.
Sounds like a new HBO series.
Something like that. So I got 5 different cock rings and I tried them out. It was really fun. But this one was the winner. And for some, like, why I like it is because when I put it on, like, my balls get, very present and very sensitive, most of all. And I always thought I should not touch my balls, and they were sensitive, so I thought, oh, that's painful, blah, blah, blah. But when I used this, I thought, it's a good sensitive. It's a good sort of pain and pleasure mixed together. So yeah, that's basically the story behind this lovely little cock ring.
So even though you have like a simple device like that,
Yes.
it can already like take you to different places.
Definitely, and like also giving up control or something, because I like being submissive, and then, yeah.
Let's talk about your very first kink experience ever. Or maybe when did you discover that you had a kink? And I want to continue with Matthijs in this one. There was a hotel room involved and an exit thing.
Yeah, I remember now. It was a hotel room in Barcelona. I met my, ex-boyfriend, and we had this wild evening and like partying, and I don't know, it was very passionate. We went to my hotel room and we had this very hot, like sexual, like very hot session. And went into the shower, and I was, again, love being submissive. And I was like on my knees, and he was being very dominant, but I never experienced that before, because I always thought it had to be equal in a way. but he told me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and he like spitting in my face and slapping me, and I was good. It's. I mean.
And so the first time he spit in your face or spat in your face, what was that like?
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? But then, like 1 second later was, oh, do it again.
Yeah. Love. So you got immediately greedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my shower story.
Nice. The both of you are into leather a lot, and what was your first leather buy? What you?
First leather buy. I got into leather when I moved to Ireland in my 20s, but I was a really poor student. And I not only could I not afford really nice gear, I didn't even know what nice gear was or good gear. So it was, like joke shop stuff. And every now and then they used to have a gear sale back then in Dublin. And I remember, collecting my pennies and going to this gear sale. It was the first time. And if it fit, I bought it. And if it was in the budget, and I bought a pair of tall leather riding boots that I'm convinced looked ridiculous, but I didn't care because they were boots, and this really great black motorcycle jacket that people said I looked terrifying in, and said I looked like the Terminator, and I felt like the Terminator in it, because if you're into motorcycle gear, it zips up to the point that you can't slouch, and it just gives you these enormous shoulders, and you just kind of walk down the street like this. And honestly, being new and walking back from a night out in Dublin in my 20s, you want to be safe, and it made me feel strong. It made me feel really powerful. It felt like I could walk down the street because it was padded, and it just made me feel like the Terminator. And I still have it. I refuse to let go of it. It's so cool, and it's the first proper piece of leather I have, and I bought more since, but it holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Nice.
It does.
And how was that for you? What was your first fetish maybe buy, or maybe your very first kink experience?
My first fetish buy, when I hear you say that, I still have the suit that I bought first. It's the red leather suit, and I still fit in it. I was like, okay. And I was preaching in church last week, and I put it on. And I had the same red suit that I bought when I was 18 years old, and I was preaching in church. And I still love it. It's just the leather that feels, and that has all the ages lived with me all those times, and I think that's the best thing.
And you say you were preaching in church?
I was preaching in church.
Yes.
They asked me to preach in church, in the old church. Leonard asked me, and I did a preach. Yeah.
What did you preach about? What was the sermon?
You didn't ask me this one.
Club church, yeah, club church, right? Or in like an actual church?
An actual church. Yeah, they asked me to talk as a leather woman and as being the chairperson of Amsterdam about who I am. So I told my story, but combining it with the story of Lot and his wife, with Sodom and Gomorrah. So we did a whole talking about it, and it was amazing.
I would like to question about how you experience BDSM sometimes, because yes, it's pleasure and it's pain, but it can also sometimes bring other things, like a sense of calm or a sense of peace. Do you have like experiences that are connected to BDSM that bring you a different sensation than just pleasure and pain?
Yes, it does. It makes your head silence, because when you go in a playroom and you go playing, you go out of your mind, because you have to be careful with your sub, and your sub has to trust you, so you have to be always in control of what you're doing. Don't be drunk. For me, it's not going with alcohol, because I have to be careful of the one saving there and laying there, and then my only thing is playing, flogging, fisting, whatever, just enjoying the moment. Yes. And that's for me is BDSM, because then I'm going out of my mind, I got a lot to do, but that particular moment of my fetish, that's life.
Yes. I feel that as well. I got diagnosed with ADHD 3 years ago, and I never understood why I like to go into subspace. But subspace is the mental. I would say that the mental space you go into when you submit. You can also have dom space, for example. And I noticed that, like when you have ADHD, you're constantly like so many thoughts. You're constantly moving. You're doing things the whole time. So there's little time for a moment of rest. And when you go into subspace, suddenly the only thing that you're doing is trying to do what the other person is saying or going with what's going on. and then you don't need to think, you don't need to move, you know, and that makes it, for me, for example, BDSM gives it a different level as well, you know. It takes me to a different place, like a piece of, calm that I otherwise don't get.
I always say it's like you know when the sea is waving, and sometimes there is a calm in the sea. And when you're playing BDSM and it's safe and it's okay, and you trust each other, you can go and forget everything around you, because that's BDSM for me.
Do you have maybe similar experiences, or maybe that it does something to you that most people might not expect?
I love this topic because this comes up a lot in conversations I have with people in the community, and especially in coaching. It's about that balance of the dominant and the submissive. There are different parts in our lives, sexually as well, where we find our joy and our peace in either having more dominance or submission, and there's a freedom and a liberty in letting go and just not having to worry about bills or about work when you're in a subspace, or an ability where whatever is going on in your life or whatever life is doing to you, you can enter that dom space and you can take control. And it's what you said, it's about finding those moments, wherever you can find them, where you can own that part of yourself. Because I believe that being in a subspace that works for you gives you the ability to go and then be dominant in another one, because we want to find that balance. So I absolutely love what you were saying there, Suzanne. Thank you. What would you add?
Yeah, for me it's also the part of letting go, because I'm very much a control freak. So what I learned from, like, I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to BDSM, or with light bondage, or also what Omar said about being blindfolded, or it's like giving up that control. And once you're over that barrier, it's sort of calm, or it's like, oh, I don't need to worry because it's fine as I am, or as we are, or whatever.
I think you earlier also mentioned that sometimes you like really, in the past you were really always worried about what people thought of you, or how they reacted to you, or how you had to react to them, right?
Yeah, for everything, like also like in the bedroom also, but also on the street, like what am I wearing, what am I saying, like how do I look, how does my body look, how does my dick look, or like all those things I can worry about, and it's such a waste of my time. Yeah.
And I think maybe stepping into this community has also like helped you a little bit to free yourself from that, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're sitting in a wrestling suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, definitely. It helped me a lot with that feel, like that normal feeling. Like, what is normal anyway? But like fitting in, or self-worth, self-confidence, you name it. That definitely has helped me with it. Yeah.
I would like to ask Guy a question about his relationship, because like in the, at least the gay community, I don't know if it goes for the whole queer community, like monogamy is often not a thing, or it disappears quite quickly. Yeah, and polyamory or being open is like often the norm. But you're in a monogamous relationship.
I am.
Does that change your perception of kink? Do you experience it in a different way because you are?
I do, because, and I think I mentioned this to you last time I was speaking with you, it's just who we are. And one of the things that show up is that when people go out and find themselves in this community, there's a lot of pressure, either mostly that they put on themselves, but also that other people have on them. And it's about going out, and it's about putting yourself out there, and it's about making conversations, and a lot of it is to do with sex. I don't have to worry about that. I get to just go out and hang out with my friends. So when I go out, I dress for me, and I go and I meet my friends. And yes, I can enjoy the way people look, but at the end of the day, I know what my choices are, and it means that I can focus on really great conversations and a really great time. And I'm pretty convinced we're a minority. It's almost like a taboo word, because it's almost like the default is that everyone is open.
But how do they react to you then? I mean, if you're like
Do you know how they react? It's super cute. It's like, oh, even for me? I'd be like, yes.
Yes.
You know what? Let me revisit my marriage for you and change my life policy just because you said that right now. People respect it. And people get really, really worried, especially the guys I coach who are monogamous. It's like, well, what people think? It's your life and it's your choices. And once you own your choices, people are like, oh, good for you. It's like, yeah, my husband, he's amazing. It's not what I'm looking for. And then maybe it gives them a little bit of, balls to go and say what they want in the relationship in any way that works for them.
Yes. Earlier we were also talking about like fetishes or kinks that you like for yourself and that you think other people should try out. Do you maybe have like an advice for anyone? What should they try out?
What should they try out? I think try out where you think your boundaries are. Never go behind your boundaries. So I can say what you should try out, but you know what you want to try out. And if you want to try out something, do it with someone that is safe. And I think then you can try out everything you like. For example, I tried sounding one time, but you need someone to help you with that.
So does everyone know what sounding is?
I will explain what sounding is. When you
She's taking us to church. Okay, preach.
Preach, girl. You can play with sounding sticks. You have a dick. You can put it in on the top with some loop and maybe some lidocaine when you're starting it. I didn't do it the first time. And then you grow out. So we were playing with it, and we ended up 1.3. So that's very big, and I loved it. But when you jerk someone, then take it out on time, because otherwise it can bleed or something like that. Yes. And then you end up in the hospital, and they're asking, "What did you do?" And I told, "I put something in it," and never forget the eyes of that doctor. So when you do something, do it safe and know what you're doing, because I didn't know what I was doing at that time, and I never make that mistake again.
Have you been at the emergency more often?
Yes, I did. Yeah, because when you start playing with hooks and you start learning it, and you don't put it the right way, you have to stitch it. Yes. So that happened. And it happened in the photo. I'm a photographer, so it was for a photographer. It was with a guy that always does it. But when you do it a lot of times, your skin rips. So this doctor said, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, I hooked him up." And I thought I had to say something else now. But I was so honest, and he fixed it. He said, "Why are you doing it?" "Oh, we're in an art project." It was true. It was an art project. But that was one thing. And the other one, that was someone sitting in my photography studio, and we were making some stitches. It's in the Art Museum. It's done now. It's at the museum now. And he saw that, and there was 6 people stitching together. I was doing that, and someone got a heart attack there, and it went to the hospital. And then the doctor said, "Again, you." I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry." So I'm a little bit dangerous, but I'm nice.
But they didn't give you like a little stamp card for you get one free visit.
I'll tell you another story. I was in Darklands. I told you that one, and that didn't hurt. But I'm a mother, and my daughter went to a school, and she had a teacher. It was a lovely gay guy, and he didn't came out to me yet. And I was like, "I know you, but hey, fine." So I went to Darklands on the Saturday, and I was presenting it. So I was in full gear, and my partner was also in full gear. And there you had that wheel where people can hang around, and you can sweep them and flog them. And this guy was on that wheel, and he was going around, and he saw me, and he was, "Mother of Meryl, why are you here?" So yeah, I know now why she did get those grades. I think that's the fun thing. Yeah, but don't be shy of who you are. Own your fetish. Yes. That's all.
Fun. Is there anything you boys would like to try out next?
Yeah, maybe because it all sounds so fascinating. Maybe more with the flogging and the spanking and the whipping. Do you say it like that?
We're going to do a product review.
Are you maybe also into cleaning houses, for example?
No, definitely not.
I didn't know that could be a thing. Can you get gear for that on the website? For someone else to clean your house and pay you for that? Let me do
You want
that.
it as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's first.
I have a new fetish. Someone else cleaning my house. Love it.
So I would still like to ask you a question about your book. The stories that you've written, what is the most personal story that you wrote? And maybe also, how has it changed you as a person? Like that experience that you were talking about.
I actually think it has more, because I write in my book about porn addiction and mental health around that. And I think I will not get into it too much, but it really helped me to write about it and to also experiencing it together with kink and fetish. Also again with that control and that self-worth and like loneliness that was talked about as well. So I think the story revolving around that really is super personal, but it really helped me get where I am right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. If you want to discover Matthijs' book, he's going to sell it afterwards also, so you can read it for yourself.
Yes, you can buy it, and it's good to know that it is in Dutch. You should know that. Yeah, but yeah, come buy it.
I would like to close this round of the panel, but I would like all of you to maybe still ask our panelists some questions. Is there anything that you want to know from our panelists?
I wanted to ask you, when you mentioned that you're preaching at the church earlier, and I want just give you more context, because I come from a very religious background, so anytime that religion is brought up in the space of being gay, or let alone fetish, I'm literally like obsessed and curious, so tell me more.
I can tell you a lot about it. We can also talk about it later together if you want to have more information. But I was asked in February by the elder people of the church, they wanted me to preach. And I was like, do you really want me? Yes, they said, we want you to show, because you combine people, you can bring people together. And we got a lot to learn. And you're a fetishist, you're open about it, you're not scary for us. I already ring the bells from the clocks in the church, and I was there every time with Pride. And now I was working with a rabbi, domine, pastor, and an imam. So I talked to 4 people from different churches to make the most inclusive preach I could do. And then I started writing and rewriting and asking my family, can I write about this story? So I started with, it's about the story of Lot's wife, and she was looking back and she went into a salt pillar. So I said, bring it back to yourself. So my daughter, she was 3 years old and she was learning how to drive a bike. And I said, I was running back to her and I said, you can do it yourself. So I let her go. But she was afraid that I could fall. And so she looked back and she almost fell. That was the thing I started with. So I started with thinking when you're young and you're on your bike and you have to trust on someone that it's going to be okay. And that's also with coming out of the closet. Coming out as a kink person or as a lesbian or as a gay or non-binary. Because when you're coming out of something, you have to let go of something that was very safe, where you know it was okay. You weren't totally yourself, but you know you were safe there. And then you want to be your true self, and you have to go stepping forward. And that's the story I told. And then I went back to the story of Lot again, and then I told that in that time, when this Bible text was written, there was also the story, when you see the archaeologic found out that there was an earthquake there that was with fire and everything in the air. So when you see those things, it's about the vision and the truth. But which truth is the real one? Is it the truth that you see or the truth that you feel? Because people don't see us as we are. They see us maybe as freaks, or they don't see our kink because we don't want to show them. But in the end, it's about who you are and who you will be seen at the world. And that was my story. So I preached for 25 minutes. And after that, the father of the church came to me and he asked me to do it more. But it was very, very heavy. But it's about thinking that everyone has something to do with a kink or something that's a secret that people don't see, because people see what they want to see. And they talk behind your back. So that's it.
So how is it for you? Like, do you think that, what are the challenges that you are still finding as a woman?
There are a lot. There are a lot of challenges. You know, I'm an older woman. I'm not in my 20s, not in my 30s. I'm almost 50. And I'm a mother. And people are scared of women that own their sexuality. And I'm showing my sexuality. I'm showing that I'm a woman and I love my body and I'm proud of it. And that sometimes brings up by people that they're angry with me or jealous. A lot of friends, when I went for Miss Leather in 2019, because Ax asked me. And then at that time, I said to my daughter, is it okay for me to come out? She said, do it, because I know you love leather, but let the world know it's fine. But the problem is, I'm a city hall counselor now, and the problem is that people always have a bullet on my back. You know, you always have a stamp. Because, that people think I'm a sex worker. I have no problem with sex workers, but I'm not. I'm a farmer, I'm a mother, I'm a chairperson, I'm everything, but I'm not a sex worker. But I love my fetish, and I'm proud of it, because that's part of me. And yes, I get questions about it, people talking about it, but I always say it's all open. How do you want to blackmail me? You can't. And being in the city councillor, being a fetish woman, I get a lot of people asking, oh, so I can be there as well when I'm in leather. Men, women, non-binary people, because it's not about who you are, it's about what you do and what you do with it. Because in the end, we're all human, and that's what it's about.
Take me to church.
Sorry?
Take me to church.
Take me to church.
Does anyone else maybe have a question?
One of your best experiences in the fetish scene so far?
One of my best experiences in the fetish scene, I went to Darklands. And it was the first time I went to Darklands. And it was an event that I'd always shied away from going to. It just felt too big, it felt too circusy, it felt too intense. And something really amazing happened in Darklands, and it's not, the story is not going where you think it's going. It was the first time when I, after a long day of kind of doing stuff in Darklands, I sat down and there were just people there who we all just sat down and relaxed together, and I felt like I truly had friends. And I know it may not be, you know, that lovely rotating thing of that story, but you know, when you spend a lifetime of trying to find your people, and you go to events and you meet and you greet and you network and you make them, and to find people that at the end of a day of everybody doing what they're doing, you're just sitting down, you're all wrecked, and you just realize that you're real friends. And it just, I don't know why, it just hit me in Darklands. And it was a really special moment because it meant that it wasn't all about the sex, it wasn't all about the fetish, that there's like a real community there. And it's nice to know that all these people we meet and we connect with and post and message, that there's something real there that we can connect to. And I really felt that this year in Darklands. It was a real kind of, it was a personal milestone for me. It was like, I belong here. These are my people. And it was really powerful. That's
cute. Super cute. That's amazing. That's nice. Yes.
Mine is actually also from Darklands from last year. Yeah, the whole experience, like in general, it was overwhelming, but in a good way. Like all the things I've seen and did, and the people I met. But one thing in particular was I saw a friend. Well, yeah, someone I knew from Amsterdam, and he and his boyfriend. Well, his boyfriend was on a leash, and we were talking and just having a beer, and he was like, "Do you want to try it?" So. And I said, yes. So...
Did you say it like this, or was it like, yes?
Yeah, you know me. I did, like, yeah. So I was wearing a harness, so the leash was put on my harness, and it was so... Yeah, exactly. And it was not even just about sex. Like, okay, we went into the play area as well, and he decided what I should do and what not do, and blah, blah, blah. But it was also there was this whole social part of we were just walking around, and I was on his leash, and he decided who I should talk to, or like, I don't know, it was a real thing. And why I liked it so much, that's the thing I actually wanted to say, was it was fun. It was just playing around. It was like I said before, I can be a thinker, I can worry a lot, and this was just fun. Just go with it. So that's what, yeah.
My best experience. Okay. It was a best experience. I was in Chicago, International Mr. Leather, and there I was having my bootlegs done. Of course, I love having a good bootleg. Always tip your bootleg. And I was there, and I was with Boy Debney, who was my sub there, and my boy, and we went downtown Chicago to a women party. And they asked me, are you okay with it? I didn't have a clue at all. So we went to downtown Chicago, and there was this light, floof, floof, and they asked for the safe words. It was pussycat, and I was like, fuck, pussycat, okay. So it went in my mind, so I came in, and I was at that time Miss Leather Netherlands, and I came in, and this whole room was filled with persons, and they switched on the lights, and they said, yeah, Miss Leather Netherlands is in the house. And I looked to the right, and I saw blood play. I looked right for me, they were fisting, and on the left, they were playing needles. I thought, this is heaven.
Okay, no more questions? Then I really want to thank you for joining us for the panel today. The same goes for all the other panelists. Thank you for coming. We would like to end this evening with a beautiful performance by Madam Madness. Give her all your love. And thank you for coming, and we hope to see you next year. And the bar is still open till 12, I think. So if you want to have a drink later, maybe talk a little bit about what we talked about today, about sex, you can. And then I would like to call Madam Madness Fornan. Thank you for coming.